Welcome to the Feria TechCast, where we bring you all things science, engineering, technology, and innovation. I'm your host, Ezekiel Iferia, and today we are joined by Michelle Walters, a clinical hypnotherapist and the creator of Make My Hypno, a first of its kind AI app that generates personalized hypnosis recordings on demand. Her journey spans from a corporate career in digital marketing to the world of therapeutic healing, driven by a passion for creativity and personal transformation. She's now blending her expertise in hypnosis with artificial intelligence to make personalized inner work more accessible. In this episode, we'll explore the science behind hypnosis, the ethics of AI in wellness, and how technology can help rewrite our subconscious patterns. So, Mitchell, welcome to the show. It's a pleasure to have you here today.
Thank you for having me, Ezekiel. I'm very happy to be here with you today.
All right, I'm excited to have you here. So, let's dive in. Your career path is a fascinating evolution from digital marketing to clinical hypnotherapy, and now to creating an AI-powered hypnosis app. So, what was the common thread or driving curiosity that connected these seemingly different fields for you?
I think ever since I've been a child, I've been fascinated by how people think and what makes people think and how to think positively, how to accomplish your goals. And I've always been a very creative and persuasive person.
Mm,
And after I got a master's in business in the United States, I went into working in digital marketing and I loved it because a lot of what we were doing was problem solving, but being creative and being persuasive and coming up with cool ideas, pretty visuals that would persuade people to try a new product or talk to a salesperson.
mm,
And I did that for years and years, liked that kind of work very, very much. And then a few years ago, I read a novel called The Hypnotist's Love Story about a hypnotherapist. And I thought, well, that is a really cool job. I want to do that. And so I did all of my certification and my training. And then during the pandemic, my life, like many other people's, kind of just kind of bottomed out. And my job ended. My partner had passed away. I was moving and all these things were going on. And I thought, if I'm ever going to change, this is the time. And so I opened an office as a hypnotherapist. I have been seeing clients online and in person for several years. And a few months ago, I had this aha moment when I realized that I could get AI to create hypnosis recordings for my clients in a very efficient way that makes awesome recordings. And so I launched my app at the end of the summer. It's called makemyhypno.com and it makes custom self hypnosis recordings for people in just a few minutes.
fantastic. So, for the engineers and data-driven people in our audience, can you demystify how hypnosis work from a neurological or a psychological perspective? So, what is the mechanism that makes it an effective tool for change?
We're still learning about it, but we know a lot more now about how hypnosis works. For millennium, people have been using sleep temples and the power of thinking and thought processes to change their thought patterns and their lives, but we really haven't known how. That has changed because in the last few years, the last couple decades, we have this great new tool called an MRI machine. And we can see now when people who are in a state of trance are in the MRI machine and we're measuring the activity in different centers of the brain, that when people enter a state of hypnosis, they dial down certain parts of their brain. It's kind of like you're getting out of your own way. And while we're still learning, there's a lot to learn about how all of this works at the detail level. We do understand that by changing the way your brain is receiving and processing information, you can make leaps in terms of changing your thought patterns from something that's not helpful to something that's more helpful. So, for example, I had a client who came to see me who was terrified of bumblebees. She'd always been
Hmm.
afraid of bumblebees. She didn't know why. It had been since she was a child. She'd never been stung. She didn't know. In the work we did together, which took a couple months, it was not a long project, she was able to use the power of hypnosis to go back in time and reveal a memory that was not she wasn't aware of. It was something that had happened as a kid that she didn't remember, that explained to her where this came from and why. And once she had that story, that new understanding of a previously hidden message, she was ready to let go of her fear. And so now she doesn't have to run from her car to the office. She can go to her boyfriend's picnic. Like, life really opened up because of her usage of hypnotherapy as a tool to let go of a unproductive, unhelpful thought pattern. In this case, a phobia of insects.
All right. So let's talk about Make My Hypno. What was the technical and creative process for building an AI that can generate genuine, personalized, and effective hypnosis script rather than just generic affirmations?
So I know as a hypnotherapist that when my work is custom for my client, for an individual, it is so much more effective. And out there on the internet, on various apps, there's thousands, maybe millions of recordings of pre recorded tracks for going to sleep or combating anxiety or imposter syndrome. I know I've made many of these, but it's not as effective as when it is a recording that is tailored specific to the individual. And because of my kind of unique background in terms of technology and marketing and digital marketing and a little bit of audio, I record and I also have a podcast. I started kind of looking at how could I do this? How could I help people by creating a tool where they could get a custom hypnotherapy script, which usually you would pay a hypnotherapist $100 or more for, in rapid fashion in just a short period of time. And I realized that by just asking people 4 easy questions and putting together a bunch of techniques, a bunch of wisdom, and hooking together a lot of tools, I've been able to make this happen. So when a person has a problem, and the problem might be something like a shortage of confidence or imposter syndrome or a need for improved sleep or addressing anxiety, they can go to Make My Hypno and put in their name and what they want the recording for, where they want to imagine themselves being, because some people like to imagine themselves on a windy mountain and some people like a moonlit beach, and any other details. This information is fed into my engine that has my uh, directions and my voice. And in 5 minutes, out the other end comes the recording. So it's a little bit of magic, but it's really a lot of just hooking together the right tools and testing and that kind of a thing. I think it might have been hard for many folks to have built this or create it, but I was blessed with kind of a unique background that gave me the what I needed to get
Yeah.
started. And I did almost all of the work myself. I did have a little bit of help. Don't want to say I didn't have any help, but did have some help. Um, but I'm very fortunate to be in a position where I've been able to bring this tool to market, and it works. And it works great. It works better than I thought it would, honestly.
Right, right. Michelle, so I'm curious about the intersection of AI and therapeutic ethics. So, what guardrails did you have to build into your system to ensure that the AI generated hypnosis remains safe, ethical, and genuinely helpful?
So it's important to understand that unlike what you see in the media, people cannot be hypnotized to think things that are cuckoo or crazy or outside of their own beliefs. So it's not so worrisome that it just wouldn't work. It just people wake up and they say, "Wait, I don't. The world is not upside down. You're trying to fudge me here. It's not true." So I don't have to worry too much about that, but I did build in some of the systems in terms of the way the data is transferred from one place to another, and some checks to ensure that the right words are used and none of the wrong words are used, to just make sure that people will get a script that they like, that is effective, and that it doesn't go places that they don't really want it to go. I was just reading today about another headline of a young woman overseas who had a negative experience trying to use a chat GPT as her therapist. And ChatGPT, as of this recording in November 2025, is not really set up to be a great therapist. My tool is it's not using it for therapy. We're using it strictly for creation of a great script that is going to speak deeply to your subconscious about what's important to you and help you make the changes. It's a catalyst, it's a tool.
So, Mitchell, can you share a story of a client who achieved a significant breakthrough using your approach? And what was the specific outdated pattern that they were able to rewrite? And how did the personalized nature of the process make the difference?
I know from my experience that personalized is better. I'm still coming up with enough case studies and examples to sort of prove that out. So I don't have the numbers or the statistics on that, but I just know from
Mm,
the work that I've done with people that that's the case. I've
mm.
seen a lot of people report great results. And the two that jump to mind first both used Make My Hypno to get more exercise. One created a script that would encourage her to go to the gym and lift weights. And one created a script that would encourage her to go out on more walks and dance more around the house. And both of them reported that they started doing what their recording told them to do. The one who wanted to lift weights told me that it started working within a day or two of when she started listening to it. And it was interesting. The one who wanted to walk and do more around the house dancing first told me that it was helping her sleep, but hadn't affected her exercise. And then when I spoke to her a few weeks later, she said, "Guess what? It didn't work immediately, but now it's been a month. I've been continuing to listen to it, and now I'm doing the exercise." So I can't guarantee if your recording will work the next day, but I do know that many people are seeing great results, even if some of those results take a little time. Your subconscious, a lot of the bad patterns that people are trying to overcome, were not things that started yesterday. Most of them were things that started a year or more ago for people in terms of being shy on their exercise or developing a sense of depression or low confidence. And it can take a little time.
So for the analytical thinkers listening who might be a bit skeptical, so what does the scientific evidence say about hypnosis? Is there data on its effectiveness for things like habit change or stress reduction that would satisfy, say, for example, an engineer's needs for proof?
There's a study that showed that 6 hypnotherapy appointments were, I think it's 93% effective, whereas 200 plus regular therapy appointments were only 37% effective. Hypnosis can be much more effective than traditional psychology. I don't know why. It just can be. It probably is because it goes deep into the subconscious and helps people to rewrite patterns. Often people seem to think like, "Oh, I'm an engineer or I'm a mathematician or I'm very sciencey and this won't work for me." Well,
Hmm.
that's not true at all. Hypnotherapy is effective for more than 90% of the population. And some of my best clients who have seen the most effective usage of it have been I had a medical doctor with great results. I had a PhD in physics with great results. Just because you are a science or technical person doesn't make you so that you can't use hypnotherapy. Some of them do great in this. There are some percentage of people who are less affected by the state of hypnosis, who find it difficult to go into that state. Um, some of them get better at it as they try, and some of them it's just not for them. That's true. But I think it's like anything. There are things that, very few things work for everybody all the time.
Hmm. All right. So looking at the future of wellness and wellness technology, so what would you say is the next frontier for artificial intelligence in therapeutic
I
applications?
think we're going to see tons of them. I think we're going to see a huge um, burst of activity on the wellness front with
Hmm.
all of the advances in AI. And some will be super great and very effective, and some will die on the vine. It's like anything. I went to a think tank sort of meeting this week in San Francisco about for founders of AI companies. And the consensus there is, this is so completely changing the way apps are developed, the way apps are tested and algorithms are built. It's going to make a big change in many aspects of the wellness space. I'm just a little piece of it.
Okay. So for a developer or a founder listening who is inspired to build technology that serves humans well-being, so what is the first piece of advice you would give them about bridging the gap between code and compassion?
The advice I would give them, having thought about this a little bit this week, is focus on what your customer needs and don't try to boil the ocean.
Hmm.
um, Make sure you are um, really focused on what will not the dream state of all the things that your app or solution could possibly do, but what is it that it absolutely must do, and stay completely focused on that, not allowing yourself to go into the next phase, the bigger idea, the whatever, because you have to get something to work. And as I learned at that think tank meeting, there's a lot of solutions out there that are not working. And part of the reason why I think they're not working is that folks have set their sights a little too big, a little too far. It makes more sense to break it up into stages that you can complete in a sprint in a couple of months.
All right. So, for you, Mitchell, what has been the most surprising or perhaps rewarding feedbacks that you've received from someone who used Make My Hypno?
I think the one that I found most surprising was a gal who made her recording, and when I followed up with her about a week later, she said, "Well, it surprised me to hear my voice or to hear my name in it because people's names go in their recordings." And then she said, "It made me cry." And she didn't mean it made her cry in a bad way, but it touched her emotionally so deeply that this, AI generated recording, with my directions and my voice touched her that deeply. And that's part of what tells me this will be very effective. I know from my work in hypnotherapy that the things that are deeper in our heart, our feelings, things that do create laughs or tears, they are the ones that have the most sort of energetic connection to the subconscious. And when you can connect at that level, you are connecting at a level that will create change more quickly. Sounds a little weird, doesn't sound very technical, but it's like when you feel strongly about something, either good or bad, those are the things that really allow you to change and grow. The little things that you don't care about, it's not such a big deal. But bringing someone to tears, that told me that this app can go places. It can help people.
All right. So, what gives you the most hope about the potential for technology to make therapeutic tools more accessible and effective for people?
I think what gives me a lot of hope is that the new tools that are coming out to build or rebuild solutions are so easy to use. Whereas in the past, you might have needed a computer science background or an extensive skill set as a programmer, it's now possible to build these apps and solutions with very little technical expertise. It's changing the entire world, I think, particularly for developers, because it's so much easier to build things now. When
Mm,
I think about my app and what it would have taken to build this app 5 years ago, 10 years ago, the resources are dramatically simplified. And the options and choices are huge. If something doesn't work on my app, there's probably something else I can try and swap it in and see if it makes it better. For this reason, I know my app will continue to improve and grow and get better and better as I continue to find the best tools for each of the different pieces of what I need to do. So I think the world has really changed in some fundamental ways, and the
yeah,
sort of the democratization of development is
yeah,
largely behind that.
yes. So, Mitchell, if you could get every technical professional to understand one thing about the power of the subconscious mind, what would it be?
I think the biggest thing that I have to remind people of is the power of positive thinking. And I don't mean thinking to the point of believing you're going to do something that's just not possible for you, but being positive and optimistic and creative and persistent to find ways to get things done. I never imagined I would be making an app this year, but my background and combination of tools, my willingness to go out on a limb and take some risks, my ability to ask for help when I need help have all been critical forces in making this happen. I think there's a lot that people can do. You have to have the confidence and the positivity to give it a shot.
All right. In your work, which sits at the crossroad of a cutting edge AI and ancient healing arts. So, what does the word innovation truly mean to you?
I guess I'd say that innovation means combining ideas in new ways that hasn't been done before. Um,
Mm,
I don't want to say that there's no new ideas on the planet, but I think that most of what we come up with in the world is combining things that haven't been combined before. And at least I feel like that's what I did here. I don't feel like what I've done here is, I don't know, it's not E equals MC squared, certainly. It's nothing like that. But it is putting things together in a new and different way, and in a way that I know is going to help thousands and thousands of people.
all right. That was a fantastic response. Finally, to wrap things up, for our listeners who are curious to experience personalized hypnosis. Where can they find your Make My Hypno app and connect with your work?
My Make My Hypno app it's a web app, so you're going to use your browser to go there, and the URL is just like it sounds, Make My Hypno. I'll spell it MAKEMYHYPNO.com. And when you go there, you'll be greeted by some information about hypnosis and hypnotherapy. Hopefully, that might answer questions or concerns your listeners might have. And then you just go to a very simple form and start putting in what you're looking for. You verify your email, pay, and in 5 minutes, the recording lands in your inbox. It's pretty amazing. So I recommend people go and check out the information on hypnotherapy and the testimonials and the content on makemyhypno.com. And for your listeners, I will provide you a special coupon code that you can put in the show notes to get 25% off their first purchase.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you very much for that. Right. It's been a really insightful conversation with you. It's been such a delight talking to you, and I am totally excited to have you on the show today.
Thank you, Ezekiel. It's been a lot of fun. I appreciate your time.